you need to learn how to say no more often. That's not to say you say no to everything, but what I'm talking about is the ability to really be in integrity with yourself. You know those moments where you've said yes to something when you really deep down want to say no, or know you should say no. What happens is it does a couple of things. It does what I just mentioned a second ago, where it actually breaks the integrity of yourself. Because inside you're saying, I really don't want to do this, but then you say, all right, fine, I'll do it. And that is being out of integrity. And I know it's this desire to please everyone, to want to make people, feel like you are reliable and can achieve more. But really, it's about your own personal integrity. Hello there, leaders. Happy Wednesday to you. I know it's normally, or it's a little later than I normally send out my videos, but I've been traveling all week, and today is literally the only week I'm going to be, or day I'm going to be home. And yesterday I tried to do this video in my hotel room, but it just didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to. So I'm going to do it here. I hope you're all doing great, and I hope you're getting something out of all of these videos. I know some of you don't always have the time to go in and watch the videos. That's why I try to make them a little short, so there's quick messages for you. But I would advise you to watch them and save them and share them with your team. Now remember, I'm also posting them inside of the portal. If you're a member of the core coaching and mentoring program, then they're inside of your video portal as well. And not every video every time it comes out, but right now I think there's like 18 up there right now. So today's conversation is all about the power of saying no. Now, this actually came to me a few weeks ago as I was on a walk. I was talking to someone on the phone while I was on this walk with my dog. And I had this this moment of kind of clarity about saying no. Now, of course, we all know it's important for you to learn how to say no more often. As high performers, high achievers, sometimes we take on more than we actually should, and we don't delegate as much as we should. But delegation and saying no are two different things, right? Being able to say, okay, I'll take that on, but I'll have my team do it or have somebody else take care of it, and then I will oversee it is one thing. But being able just to say, you know what, I appreciate you asking me to do that right now. It just doesn't fit into my time schedule, or I don't have the bandwidth to do that. And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it be something work-related or personal-related. Maybe it's part of your church and your organizations that you belong to. Maybe it's part of a study club that they've asked you to do something. And you need to learn how to say no more often. That's not to say you say no to everything. But what I'm talking about is the ability to really be in integrity with yourself. You know those moments where you've said yes to something when you really deep down want to say no, or know you should say no. What happens is it does a couple of things. It does what I just mentioned a second ago, where it actually breaks the integrity of yourself. Because inside you're saying, I really don't want to do this, but then you say, all right, fine, I'll do it. And that is being out of integrity. And I know it's this desire to please everyone, to want to make people, feel like you are reliable and can achieve more. But really, it's about your own personal integrity. But the aha I had when I was on my walk was more around this. I realized that when I say no, yes to something I want to say no to, yes, my integrity is out of whack, but I'm also robbing a loved one of a future relationship with me. Now, I don't know about you. I'm going to assume that you're a lot like me, where when you say yes to something you know you should have said no to, you tend to sometimes maybe put it on the back burner. Maybe it becomes something to where, it's always there, something you have to get to, or you replace that thing with something you really want to be doing. And it brings a sense of frustration, or if there's a deadline, of tension, or a looming, end that you have to do that you really didn't want to do. And so it can cause you to be more frustrated. Therefore, your emotions get higher. And someone else in your life might be the recipient of your short temper, of your being quick to be upset, of your stress. And they had nothing to do with you saying yes to something you should have said no to. So let me give an example. Let's just say you have something that there's a deadline to, and it's just one of those things that is kind of in your way, and it's out there. And so you get to that last week before it's supposed to happen. You put it off, you put it off, you put it off, and now you're like, dang it, I said yes to this, I got to get it done. And so here you are on your last week. You're overly stressed. You're even more frustrated than you normally would be. And now a loved one comes to you and asks you to do something, or maybe they just do their normal life happenstance, right? They're just going around what they normally would do. But because your emotions are heightened, you snap at them, you get angry at them, you somehow dismiss them, and they then have a broken relationship with you because you've attacked them for you being the person who's frustrated and stressed over something they didn't agree to and you shouldn't have agreed to. So you're robbing them by the moment you say yes to something you should have said no to, you're robbing them of a future connection and relationship, and they had nothing to do with it. So for me, it was just an aha, and maybe actually made me think of a few times in my own life where I know that I have said yes to something that I should have said no to, and I get to that moment, right, where it's like the countdown, the looming, the doomsday clock is counting down, right? It's getting closer and closer and closer, and the bomb's about ready to go off, and so I'm tense, I'm frustrated, I'm stressed, and a family member, maybe one of my kids, maybe my spouse, maybe even somebody at work, maybe it's just one of your coworkers or your employees, that they do their normal routine. They come in and they ask you for something, or maybe it is even something that's a little bit of a bother to you, but normally you wouldn't act or react the way that you do. And you go off on them, or you get upset with them, or you yell at them. And they are the recipient of this thing, this anger, this frustration, that the root of it had nothing to do with them. It was all because 2 weeks ago, a week ago, a month ago, you said yes to something you should have said no to. So just put some thought into some of the areas where you are saying yes to things more often than you're saying no to them. And you're saying yes to things that don't matter, that person can find someone else to do, even if they tell you it's an emergency, even if they say, man, you'd really be doing me a favor. Be willing to say, I love it, it's in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey talks about how his wife had to learn how to just say, you know what, I so appreciate you thinking about me to do this thing. It's just not going to fit into my schedule right now, or I'm just not going to be able to do that, or I wouldn't be able to do that at the full ability that I would love to do that. So maybe you need to find somebody else to do that. It's a way of saying no without having to say no. As a matter of fact, if you look inside of the customer service training, if you haven't gotten there yet, it's okay, you'll get to it. But in the customer service training underneath relationships, there's actually a training all about how to say no without saying no, right? And that's something that everybody in your organization should learn how to do. All right, I hope that served you. I hope you got something out of that, and I hope you're having a great week. I'll see you on next week's video. Talk to you then.